This is the Modal Cobalt 5S, a synth that I haven't really talked about. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat. Today's patron shoutout goes to ALW Tunes. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So this is the Modal Cobalt 5S. It's a 5-voice virtual analog synthesizer, and I haven't really talked about this thing despite owning it for, I think, almost a year now. I purchased this, I want to say, late last year when I was working on the live rig, and back then the live rig was much larger than it is now. It's actually before I added the live looping into the rig. It was based around playing patterns on the SP404 Mark II and playing stuff like live over that to fill in. And of course, the live rig, if you're unfamiliar with that now, has changed a lot. Now it's all live looping based and recreating songs that way. It's slimmed down a lot as well. And so the Cobalt 5S is no longer part of that, and it just kind of sits around these days. I don't really use it for anything. You can tell I haven't even pulled the screen protector off. I kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about it today, maybe go through some of my favorite presets, and make this more of a gas video than anything else, I guess. An anti-gas video, rather. I kind of bought this impulsively, knowing that I thought at the time I needed another analog or virtual analog synth in the setup, just to kind of, be a workhorse in there, when I already at the time had the 1010 Fireball part of the setup as well. Which is, of course, also digital, but it's wavetable based. But I thought for some reason, I can't even remember why, I needed another synth, so I bought this with my own money. And it's not that I regret buying it, but I just wish I would have thought it through more. Now, the reason I don't regret buying it is because it is an awesome sounding synthesizer, and I think it's got a lot of great uses. It's dual oscillator here, and the oscillators have these algorithms that can change up your sound pretty drastically just on the fly. It's got a really nice desktop editor, so you can edit on the computer, or I think it's actually on mobile as well, and that works really well. It's very expressive. It's got aftertouch as well as this XY trackpad that also, I guess it's XYZ because it's got pressure, and you can set things, you can modulate stuff with that as well. But I just really haven't used it. Now, when I did have it part of the live rig, it was actually more inspirational for writing than anything else. The patch I'm about to play for you right now is called Men in Black, and this is actually the patch that inspired my song Monsters, which is not out yet, but is currently being worked on now that the MPC 3.0 release is, or the beta is released anyway. But this riff right here, just these chords, the... just that right there came about because of this patch. I was just noodling around in the live rig one day, and I just came up with it and thought it sounded really cool and really lush, and just went with it. And speaking of lush, this might be a weird segue, but there's no reverb in this synth, which is super weird. There's chorus and there's delay, but there's no reverb. And at the time, I didn't really care because I was running it into the Blue Box, which also at the time was part of the live rig, and that had reverb. But now, kind of on its own here, I'm like, well, what the hell? What the hell do I do for reverb? Because this isn't part of the jam desk. It's not part of the live rig. It's just kind of free floating. So I'm just kind of at a loss as to what to do with this synth. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to get rid of it. Because I do really like how it sounds, and there's some fantastic presets in here. I think this is one of them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds so cool, right? Yeah, it's got this tenor sax patch. And there's nothing on the Z axis there, but a lot of times it's just used for pitch bend. Looks like we have a little vibrato if we go up and down there. And nothing on aftertouch. Yeah, now it's just a great sounding synth. And I also like playing with the mix knob for the oscillators. Yeah, I think it sounds fantastic, and all of this is modulatable, by the way. Unfortunately, editing on the synth itself can be kind of a pain in the butt. You have to go through all these different little menus here. You might not even be able to see this on camera. And just basically using these two knobs, which can click in to select, parameters and stuff like that. But it's a huge pain. It's much easier to edit on the desktop. So that's kind of another con of this thing that, again, in my mind, I bought it specifically for the live rig. And in my head, I was like, okay, well, I will edit all the patches I need on the desktop and then just have it ready to go for live. Now that it's not in the live rig, again, one of those things where I'm just like, what am I doing here? No. Yeah, this one's sick. Yeah, see, you can get some really cool stuff out of it just by playing with the presets. And by the way, the ARP was on for that. Still a lot of movement there, even without the ARP. Yeah, I mean, really, really cool sounding stuff, for sure. Here's one that has aftertouch. That works as advertised. The keyboard's not the best. I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as something like the Korg Op 6 or anything like that. It's plenty serviceable, but I don't know. The activation point for the aftertouch requires a little too much force for my liking. Another reason within the live rig reason that I picked this up originally was because I think it sounds really great for a lot of synthwave type stuff, like great leads. You've heard some of the great like pad and chord patches in here. Just really lends itself to that style of music, which is a genre I very much enjoy. Okay, here's a patch that uses the Z-axis of the trackpad over here. Yeah, as you can see, you can get pretty expressive with it. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4 with the aftertouch modulation sources, and those can be mapped to whatever you want. And that's pretty nice on a sub $400 synth. I believe this thing clocks in right at $399.99, which is, yeah, that's what I paid for it. And like I said, I don't necessarily regret it, but I do just wish I would have thought things through a little bit more, especially with the live rig. I really went all in with that giant live rig, which was just not really feasible for playing out with, not for the the ease of setup and the ease of use that I like to have whenever I do things live. I'm really glad that I stripped down the live rig to what it is now. I love my current setup. The fact that I've gigged successfully with it already is of course a huge boon as well. And that just kind of leaves the Cobalt 5S sitting here. Not something I really regret buying, but something I don't really have a use for. Let me know if you've got anything like this, something that you were really excited to grab and then you picked it up and then something changed and now it's just kind of there, and maybe you don't know what to do with it. I'm curious if any of you out there have anything like that. Surely I can't be the only one. I know this video was a little different. Sorry if you didn't quite love it, but sometimes I do just like to sit down and give my, opinions and thoughts on something, especially if it's been kind of on my mind lately, like the Cobalt 5S has. I don't think I've even shown this thing 5 times on camera, at least playing it. It's probably been in the background of most of the live rig videos, just sitting on the floor. Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that I hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.